All right, so I'm going to start recording on OBS. There's a whole bunch of stuff that I just started recording late, guys, and I just went over PropFirm versus personal accounts.
I'd want to see some convincing, but theoretically, and I'm afraid to say it because Steven's going to hear me. Where the fuck did that come from? Theoretically, if we got above this resistance here at 479.02, I'd like to at least make it up to 479.58. So about a.
All right, so if what you guys can do is mute, I believe mute me, and if you mute me, it should get rid of the echo. If you right click on me and hit mute, it should get rid of the echo. But then if you can't hear me, you might have to mute to actual shared screen and then leave me unmuted.
50-cent move up and a much bigger move down if we can catch it to the downside. If we get through that blue line, obviously we have a double top resistance in pre-market at the straight up number of 480.
As you can see, I punched in the numbers in my indicator. It plotted the green line here. That's his call line. His target is this blue line right here that it automatically plots. And then I need to get the put line.
Is the ultimate resistance so far from where we're currently at. It's too tight. Well, then wait for a pullback, Daniel. I've never heard anybody say that before. I didn't even know there was such a thing.
All right, so right there, normally I'll put an order in on this put line or the call line, but I was waiting to try to get Jimmy's put line in, and I looked over and I noticed that price is already crossing up over the call line. So what I did is I come over here and I hit buy market, and as you can see, I have an automatic take profit in and stop order automatically in, and you'll see how I move it.
Sorry, getting saucy in here. So Lisa, why do you think we're married? Things work out so well.
Over here, price is moving up. I started moving my stop loss up, and of course that's the end of the video. But I moved my stop loss up, and it ended up hitting my take profit anyway. And that was before. That was 927, I think. So it was even before market open. You know, I made $1,300, and it's like, okay, you know, I'm done trading, so to speak. At least with that account, it was like, there's no need to keep trading because, you know, technically I'm done with that account. But it's that quick. You know, it's in and out, and that's how I trade. I don't hold for, hey, is it going to go up here, there, or wherever? You know, I'm in and I'm out, and I'm happy with that amount because, you know, tomorrow I could trade and do the same thing. As of right now, I've been doing Jimmy's call put lines for 3.5 weeks. So the first week, it hit 4 out of 5 times. So if you want to get percentage-wise, I think that equals like 92%. And then for the past 3 weeks, or 2.5 weeks, I guess would it be? Yeah, the first week was 4 out of 5. Second week was 100%. Third week's 100%. And so far this week, it's been 100% profit with it. And then combine that together, you're talking like 16 out of 17 trades was green. So I think it averages out to like 94%, but it's very accurate and crazy how accurate it is on there. But that's how I do the call put lines with Jimmy's. He says it, and like I said, my screen's set up like this. I'll have my trade evade here, and normally, like I said, I'll try to place the order here on the DOM so when it catches up to me. But this morning it just, you know, I was waiting for the put line, noticed it went up, so I just come over here and hit the buy market. Normally I do not do that. I already have the order placed in. So this was kind of like a anomaly, I guess, of not doing it. But the call put, this is an indicator here. And if you guys don't have these indicators yet, you can go here and go on the wait list, and then I'll approve it. But it has Jimmy's call put lines. It'll have Jimmy's lines where it'll convert his Q lines over to the NQ, and I have one for the SPY level too. It'll convert his SPYs over to the ES if you trade ES. Oh, no problem, Ixis. So, you know, I used to trade a 3-minute orb. I'd wait 3 minutes before I'd trade, and then Jimmy always did the call put lines. I just never really paid attention to him because I always traded my 3-minute orb. But then once, without even writing down wins and losses, I was just watching them, and I'm like, holy shit, they win pretty damn good. I'm gonna have to start keeping track of this. And then I just recently started keeping track of it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is. I'm not one about win loss percentages, but you can't deny something that's almost 100% win losses. So I started playing them, and I love them. I'll keep playing them until the market's constantly changing. So right now, these call put lines are hot. I'm sure they're gonna stop down the road or might switch over. What if it breaks the call put but doesn't hit your? I move my profit up. Let me go back to that video real quick. As you'll be able to see it. You'll have to.
All right, so you guys are wondering, what's the call put scenario? I'm going to start with the Qs. With the Qs, would like to be below, slightly below.
All right, so watch this right side of the screen. All right, so you see my orders in, and then watch what I do. As it's pushing up, I move my stop loss up. All right, you see me grabbing it and dragging it up? All right, so I drag it up, and I'll drop that stop loss, so no matter what, I'm going to take money on it. That time it actually pushed up and hit my profit target, and so I didn't. But I'll drag it up, and like I said, no matter what, I'm making money on that trade. If I'm green, I am making money on that trade because as you can see, I'll drag it up and drop it. If I come back and I'm only making 500, 300 bucks, well, I'm happy with that. Okay, you want me to do the ES? Okay. So here's the ES indicators. Oops, let me just copy and paste. All right, so let me get a line here on Jimmy's chart. So in the morning, Jimmy will, his live charts, he'll post his lines. And then what I do is I'll punch his lines in here, and then it'll convert them over to the ES chart. And then, but if it was a call put line, let me just copy this over to and then you have to switch this up here to SPY. And then let me get a different put line. We'll say 560. Oops. And get rid of Jimmy's levels and my OPR levels. So by punching those in, on the ES, it'll play it too. It'll push them off. And then Jimmy gives you the call put lines on ES. So you just punch those in there. Like Forky, are you talking about like right now, these times here? I do and don't. I find that I take most of my losses after hours, just because the movement of the market isn't as fast as you can see how I get in and out. It's not that fast during the day or at night as it is during the day. So I honestly think I'm only going to start trading during the day and really doing those call put lines. And if they don't hit, I'll show you my other strategy also. I think it's on the video too. I'll have to. Oh shit! Did I cut that video? I don't know if I cut the video or not. My minimum points I usually go for Beast is 2. So once it hits the 2 points, I'm dragging my stop loss up to a bare minimum of 2-point gain, and anywhere between 2 to 5 contracts. So with Apex, it's a 300K account and it's a PA account, but I got a lot of drawdowns, so I'm trading 5 contracts in that PA account. In a 50K account with $2,000 drawdown, normally I'm trading anywhere between 2 to 3 contracts of minis. Yeah, slippage is sometimes gets me, but I'm like I said, I'm happy if it comes back, hits my stop loss, and I'm only getting $50 or $100. At least I'm green, you know. But normally I'm moving my stop loss up at 2 points, but it's usually pushing up even further, and I have to agree, there's a lot of slippage when you use your stop loss getting hit. So I kind of like having like my take profit personally. I like getting it hit because then you take the full amount, and if anything, you get slippage in your favor because it's moving so fast. It'll hit your take profit, and you'll actually buy. You know, you'll get more money on it, and that's actually what happened to me today on one of my accounts. Because NQ, I used to trade ES before I even looked at NQ. NQ was a nightmare. I looked at it and I'm like, holy shit, this thing's moving so fast. I used to only trade the ES because it associated with Jimmy's Discord the most, is, you know, because he does SPY. And then Jimmy started really relying on the Qs a lot. So I'm like, okay, I want to see how the Qs, you know, transfer over to the NQ. And then I used to only trade the fibs. And I know they work on ES, but I wasn't sure how they worked on NQ. So I started back testing them on NQ, and I noticed that the fibs actually play better on NQ just because of the movement. You know, once it breaks a fib line, usually you can get almost 5 to 10 points on it, you know, after it breaks it. Where ES, it just moves a lot slower. It would break my fib line, and I'd be in the trade, and it'd go down, pull back up, go down, and it'd hover around there for a little bit. And where in NQ, it's like, okay, I'm in and out. Um, I'll pull up the other video. I didn't edit it or anything, so I'm gonna have to look for how it is on the NQ. But I want to make sure who asked me about the ES. If was that okay with the ES? Did I show you what you needed to see on the ES? Oh, who was that? Oh, can't remember who it was. Sorry, I'm looking up here. Oh, Delane, did that answer your question about the ES at all? Of how to convert it over. I don't have Jimmy's call puts because I don't write them, you know, keep track of them on ES, so I can't show it how they work. But it's basically the same thing. You just punch it in here and you know, put an order in and go with it. Um, Jimmy normally goes off the queue. He takes his queues off the queues, which is basically the NQ on that. All right, so that's the call put scenarios on here. Now let's see if I can find this other one real quick. Which one is it?
ADD is looking pretty good. Make it.
Oh shit!
Hopefully it can until at the moment.
I think I cut it out. Shit, I did.
NVIDIA or ADD is looking pretty good. It's just Qs and ADD are fighting each other.
All right, so I didn't get to record my fib trades on the video, but I can explain them here. So with NQ Beast, like a 3-point stop, it hits pretty quick. Normally, as you saw, I'll have like a 25 or 50 point take profit and a 100-point stop loss, but then I'll as you saw, I drag my stop loss up to a more manageable level, usually because the stop loss usually pretty far away initially, and then I'll drag that thing up. So let me get rid of the call put lines here. Get rid of Macton here. So here's my I know Jimmy was talking about higher highs, higher lows in the chat today, and he's talking about indicator. I made one that goes off of the body of not the wicks, but the body, the higher highs, higher lows, and I think this is available in that indicator list that I made, or that I just shared that wait list on there. And it's pretty accurate. Like technically, it didn't close here below, so that's not a higher low or a higher. I guess that would be a higher than this one here, but it pushed up and you know, this is a higher high. It pulled back below it. and above this creates a higher low, another higher high here. I guess technically this red candle here could be a higher low because, well, no, this candle didn't break it. Neither did that though, but it's still a higher low. So it's not perfect, but it's close enough to where you can get the gist of the higher high, higher low stuff. Like here's a perfect example. You got a higher high and then it starts dropping, higher low, lower high, lower low, lower high, and a lower low, another lower high. And it shows that how Jimmy talks about if we're creating lower lows, calls are off the table because a good chance it's going to break that previous higher low, which here it does. Here it breaks it. Here it breaks it. It broke it here, but not too often. Then once it reverses, look, higher high, higher low, created a higher low, therefore it should break that higher high, which it does. So this is as close as I could come for a higher high, higher low type indicator. But let me get the fibs on here. All right, so what's going on here with these fibs? All right, is that all right? All right. So 944, the fibs will plot. All right. Shit. That happened too quick. So like here, the fibs are plotting, and you could see that it's consolidating on this 382 line. Usually when it breaks enough to where you can get some profit. And then when it breaks below it, it breaks enough. Same with this 236 line. If it breaks up, breaks below it. So here, what I would do is I would place an order at this 236 line. I would have a profit target at that 382 in case it pushes up that far. It's going to get me, profit. And then usually right below that 10% would be a stop loss. And then what I'm waiting for is for price to push back up above that 236. So here, like it pushed up, that would, technically buy me in at 9575. I'd start dragging my stop loss up. 9575, 9975. So right there would be, that's way too much. Where's the 2 points? 9775. So right there, I'd be stopped out already. I'd be in that trade, pushes up, I'm out of that trade as it sucks back down. And that's how I would be moving my stop loss on that. And then, of course, it breaks down. Now I'm playing the fib points. So I'd have an order in here at this 169. If we push back up above that 169, I have a take profit at that 236, stop loss down here. So as it breaks up above that, it buys me in, and I do the same thing with this, my fib thing. My stop loss would be here, and then I would split the difference. It actually hit that zero line. So my stop loss now would be here. We continue up, I'd move my stop loss. If it pushes back down, it just, it'll buy me out. It continue up. I think this is the one I end up making. I passed my other account. It was like 6K I made on this one. It pushes up again, pushes above there. I'd probably do the previous day high now as my stop. I'd move this line up to the 50. And then, okay, it pushes back. But as this thing pushes up and breaks that 236, I'd be dragging it up and probably get stopped out right about there as it was dragging. But on that account, I passed. It was a Tradeify account. It was 100K, needing 6K to pass, and I ended up passing it. And I just converted it tonight over to, because it's a one-day pass account. But that's how I play the fibs. I'll look for consolidation levels. If it's not hitting these extensions, I'm looking for the consolidation levels where I love consolidation on these fib points where people hate trading consolidation. Man, I scalp the shit out of consolidation. So now, it's hitting these extensions right there. There's another extension hit. It pulled down. 10% is the buy-in. It whipsaws up. And this is why I have because this candle happens so fast. This is why I have a take profit in already up here, because there's no way I could have moved my stop loss up to catch how fast this wick was. It literally, because I think even Jimmy was like, "What the hell was that?" It like wicked up and down super quick. And that's why I have my stop loss or my take profit. When I'm playing extensions, usually it's the 236 line. And it whipped up and hit it there on that account. And then I ended up blowing an account too. It was a take profit, or not take profit. It was a top step account. I think that was it right there. Because I had an order in here. I want to say that's where it was. And it come up barely, like it broke it and bought me in to the upside. I didn't move my stop loss fast enough, and it pushed down and it blew my top step account. So they're not all 100% winners on there, but I rely on these extensions pretty good, as long with these fib points here. But that's how I trade throughout the day. Normally I'm done trading, but I got a Tradeify. I'm still working on a Tradeify 150K eval, top step 50K eval. What other one do I have? Take profit trader eval. So I got 3 evals I'm still trading. So the call put lines I did with my funded accounts, and then I switched over to my evals and I was trading it throughout the day through trading these fib lines on there. Any questions on that? I know it's probably confusing because I went over it so fast, but that's just the call put lines are the main thing I wanted to show because they work so well. And technically, I guess everybody can do it. So this is my Tradeify account. The top one is a funded account. The bottom one's my 150K account on here. I also wanted to show my Tradeivate setup because somebody asked about the a Tradeivate setup. So this is how it is. I have the DOM. I don't have a chart on my Tradeivate. I have the DOM here, my accounts here, and then the position size here, because sometimes I might fat finger and don't realize it, and then realize, oh shit, I got 10 contracts and I thought I only had 5 on there. But this is how I have it set up for me, because I have Tradeivate, like you saw in the video. I have Tradeivate over here, or Trading View over here, Tradeivate here, and I'll get in, a contract over here, and let me see which one I got on here. All right, so why don't I do this? Let me switch to my evening indicators. All right, so the fib's plotted already. So this is live trading here. This is live. I'll do one contract. I hope I'm in my... Nope. I got to switch accounts. Let me switch my accounts real quick. That way I'll show you how I actually get into it, live. All right, so 13. You know what? I don't care if it's showing my account or not. All right, so like right now, it's it did break above the 0 line. It pushed up a little bit. And then the 10% here, we break below it. We're not really gaining that much from it. So I'll put an order in here if we break it back above, what is it, 17125. And then I'll move my stop loss up, or my take profit up to, okay, we've been hitting here, so it should push up to at least there. I'm also going to put it in an order in at the 661, because if we break below it, we usually push down to 558, so it's 3 points. So 661, I'm going to put an order in. And then, what did I say, 3 points? 58. So let me go to 58. Oh shit, there's our fat finger. There's my 58. So if we break that, I expect, at least to hit this buy, because it's right where it wicked before and there's a support there. We could push down, but it'll just buy me in there. And then this buy stop will become a stop loss for me if this one buys in. And then if my top order buys in, this sell stop's going to be a stop loss. But I'm basically playing the break of the fib point, because, like I said, if we broke above the 0 line, we pushed up to here, had support. We broke back below this 10% line, and every time we broke below it, we did push down. All right, so we did break up above the 0 line. So now what I'll do is I'm going to push this up to 10%. I'm going to drag my stop loss up, and then I'll drop it here. I'm not sure if it'll sell me out if I do drop it here. But I expect it to push up at least to, this area here where it kind of held support before, or resistance before. And then let me move it right below I'm locking it in here. So worst case scenario, it pulls down, it's going to sell me out there. All right, so I'm going to drop it some more, move this up, stop loss up, move it up a little more. All right, so pull back and got me out. So right there is basically how I live trade. Once I'm in, once it started getting closer to my take profit, I drug it up further, and then I kept dragging my stop loss up, locking in those profits, because it's a trailing drawdown account. So I want to make sure I don't get drawn down a lot. Good job, Forky. But that there is how I basically, like I said, I'll put in, okay, if we break above it, because we've been breaking above and moving up to here, we break below this 10%. So now this 10% comes off the table. If anything, I'd put an order in at the 0%, because every time we hit it and broke down, we gained, it's only a point, so it's not worth playing to the downside here. And here's a good example of bouncing off of the fib point, that 10% extension. We hit it and pulled back. Of course, I was too busy BSing and I didn't have an order in there, but any questions on that kind of stuff? How I get in, how I get out, futures versus prop firms, or personal versus prop firms, the Jimmy call put lines, anything like that? Any questions? Yes. Oh, and this one here, it's called, on the wait list, it'll be called the Fibinator. And let me just actually pull the Fibinator up. I think it's this one here. All right, so here, when you first get the indicator, you have to type in agree, and it is all, I believe, lowercase. And that's basically agreeing that I'm not responsible for, if you type it in uppercase, it won't plot. And then once you're in here, like, there's a bunch of indicators built into this one indicator. It has higher time frame candles, so you can watch a 5-minute candle on a 1-minute time frame. There's a trend baseline. It kind of goes off trend. It gives you signals, trend signals, when to get in. The moving averages, if you play the moving averages, it has that in here. It shows you a double cross. It shows you a regular crossover. Supply demand. And the swing points, they're not as good as my other high-low indicator. But right here, the timing, if you're on regular market time frame, you want it set for 8:30 to 8:44. If you want it to the nighttime, you'd set this to 1700 and 1714, and then that'll plot the fibs. Like I said, it usually lets the market play for about 15 minutes, and then it'll plot the fibs automatically. It'll automatically move the fib points also, and once it breaks it. But it's not like a traditional fib. It's not gonna like it breaks and closes above its 10%. The zero line's not gonna move until it closes above this 272, and then the zero line will move. Like here, you see it closed above that 10%, 81.75. So it didn't it won't replot until it's above that 272 line, because these are just natural resistance lines, especially during the day, unless like we're in an uptrend. So I shouldn't play this back to the downside, because we started way down here, and as you can see, we just uptrended through everything. So that tells me these extensions are no play, because we're just in an uptrending night. So if anything, I guess the way to play this will be an order in at this 169, that if we break above it, we should go to this 272 area. But I'm not playing, like I said, at night. It's just, you can see how slow it moves. But let me go. The wait list, where's my wait list at? I got so many freaking favorites. All right, so admit. All right, so once I gave you approval, you got to go back to that WAP page, and on the left side there'll be like fibs indicators. You'll click on that, and then you'll have to claim access with your trading view name, and it's your trading view name, which is located here. Like mine's the Fibonacci. It's not a email address. You'll type that in. I think there's a set button. You'll click on set and then claim indicators, and then it'll claim in. And then you have to completely close down your trading view, and then when you open them back up under invite only, you'll have the indicators there under there. I think Forky. I'm not sure if you have to have just 10K in general. I know you have to have at least above a 5K or keep above. So say you get to $10,000 and you withdraw 6,000, you're below they require like a $5,000 bank, so to speak. Like once you get switched over to the Pro Plus count, they kind of hold that $5,000 as, I guess, escrow or something. It's still your money. You could still take, profits out of it. And then you kind of start the process again, I think. I haven't gone Pro Plus yet, because I'm big on taking profits, and I don't want to go Pro Plus right now, I guess. And I usually take my profits down to 3K, build it back up, take it down to 3K or 2K, and then usually I'll blow my account before then, before I get to the Pro Plus. Um, yeah, let me go back to the high-low indicator. So let me go and let me see if the high-low indicator is actually on. It should be. Ah, where's it at? Your WAPs, that's it. I get this one here. All right. Okay, so it says it's shit. Which one is it though? I got two of them on here. I want to say it's this fibs high low on it because I just updated it recently and I can't remember if I re-added it to here or not. So what I'll do is before you claim access, let me go ahead and update it. What is it? Fibs high low, I think. Is that what it say over here? Fibs with a lower S. HL? Yeah, Fibs HL. Okay. Oh shit, yeah, that's not it. How about that one? Okay. All right, so the actual indicator would be the one with capital Fibs HH/HL. That's the one that's the most updated one on there. So let me go back my trading view and talk about it. Oops, that's my. All right, so Lefty, with this indicator, it'll automatically plot, as you can see, like the higher highs and higher lows. And it, the way I got it, I know Jimmy, I think uses the wicks, but I use the bodies of the candles. And we'll just 6 o'clock. This actually, where's it at? There we go, 6. So here's opening roughly around 6 o'clock. So it jumped up. It did a higher high, and this is a higher high compared to where it closed at. And then it pulled down and then pulled back up. And as you can see, that's considered a higher low. It made a higher high here. And obviously this higher low is bigger than that one. Now we drop down for a lower high. And, technically, if it's a lower high, it should break this higher low, which it did. Create a lower low here. Another lower high. It should break down this lower high, but it ended up making a higher low. Therefore, it should break this lower high here back to the upside. Not saying use this indicator to get in and out with, but I know Jimmy talks higher highs, higher lows, and all that stuff. This actually gives you a visual to where, I mean, without it, you could kind of see it, but I know today in chat, a lot of people were asking a lot of questions. How do you know if it's a higher high, higher low, and all that stuff? This here kind of gives you a gist of, okay, that's a higher high, that's a higher low. But you don't have to, like I said, you can take that indicator completely off if you want. And then the indicator itself in the settings, the length will determine what makes the higher high, higher low. So the higher this number is, the more spread out they'll be. So as you can see, it's spreading it out because it's taking into consideration more candles. I keep it at 3 because I like to keep it nice and tight. If you really wanted to, you can do the zigzag here. And what that's going to do is it'll, I don't want to say plot trend lines, but it'll actually plot lines to, the higher high, higher low, and it gives you a visual that way too. As you can see here, pushed up higher highs, and then it created that lower low. It turned it red. Lower low turned it red. So but that's an option also. Any other questions or anything like that? So here's what I'm going to do with the giveaway. Tonight's giveaway, I'll just whoever's in the chat, is available, but going forward for now on, when I do giveaways, it's going to be for whoever's a gold member. Because I'm planning on doing like giveaways once a month with a prop firm. If you're not interested in getting a prop firm, obviously you could say, hey, I'm not interested and I won't add your name to it. Um, but split screen, cool. So with the split screen on Windows, they have that snap option where you just minimize it and pull it over, and it's going to snap it. I can't do it on this side because this is my second screen, but I just make it minimize. So this is trading view, and then this is over here. Mac has it doesn't do it natively. It has a program you can download to snap it to each one, is what I do. Or you can just visually like, okay, I'm going to minimize it and stretch it. Obviously, if your screen's maximized, you can't do it. You'd come up here, minimize it. I think on Windows, it might be on the right side. And then you can stretch it however you want. If you want, I can go through how to actually set up this Tradeovate, because I think normally Tradeovate comes, it has a chart on here. So why don't I do this? So this is a total blank screen on Tradeovate. If you have stuff on your Tradeovate, just hit the X button like I was hitting. And then to add things to your screen on Tradeovate, on the left side, there's this big plus where it says add modules. So the first thing I like to add is that DOM. I use the DOM all the time. And then my accounts. I always want to know my accounts, like with shit. Yeah. So I want to know, like, and on these accounts here, if you hit the cogwheel over here and hit select, you guys can take a screenshot of this. These are the ones, like, you can drag and drop. Shit, I can't remember where it was. But these are the ones I have showing. Actually, I think I got a screenshot of it somewhere. Yeah, there it is. That allows you to see your drawdown where it says distance. That's my drawdown for this account. And then it gives you your dollar amount of the day, how much like I made $94 today. If I'm in a trade, this dollar open will tell me how much I'm making in the specific trade. And then this dollar gives me my overall daily dollar. And then this is the total of your account, obviously. And over here in the DOM, like I'd want NQ. So, and then once I hit NQ, go into the settings of NQ, and I have it, I uncheck the top and all the bottom ones I have checked. And then I also do MNQ. All right. And then I'll do MES. And then ES. Again, I haven't been trading the ES, but in case I decide to say, okay, I want to trade it, I already have it set up. Now, if you don't hit like this P&L and the ticks and stuff and show estimated P&L, what'll happen is when you put an order in, it's not going to show you how much you're making on this DOM. And then you can shrink it up to however you want. And then I also like the position size. Where's position? Positions here. Again, because like sometimes I fat finger and it at least tells me how much my position size is. That's how I get that set up. I don't have a chart since I use my trading view chart.